Hello, welcome to class. My name is Benin and I'm a British English teacher. Today I'd like to share with you some strategies for what to do when somebody asks you a difficult question in English and you just need a few extra seconds to respond. This is super common in everyday speaking situations for native and non-native speakers, and it's also something that's really helpful for the IELTS exam when you get those tricky, unexpected questions. So let's dive in with the tips. The first tip I have for you today is to use what we call filler words in English. So filler words are these really small little words that we use to fill the time when we're speaking in English. So I'm talking here about words like well, so, right, or slightly longer expressions like I guess, I suppose, I'd say. So let's say somebody asks me the question, Benin, what do you like about your culture? I find this a bit tricky to respond to, so I say, well, I guess one thing I like about my culture is the politeness, for example. Or I could say, so I suppose one thing I like is the politeness. And as you see, we often put a short filler with a long filler together to just get that extra time. We can also stretch out these words, say them longer to get even more time. So, well, I suppose I would say, or so not too long, obviously, but just to get a little bit of extra time. So that's tip one. Tip number two is to be honest and to use a phrase, memorize phrases that show it's a difficult question for you. For example, I often say, oh gosh, that's a tricky question, or wow, that's a difficult question, or to be honest, I haven't really thought about that before. Okay, so again, if we have this question, Benin, what do you like about your culture? I could say, wow, that's a really difficult question. I suppose I really like the politeness, for example. And you can see we often, again, combine one of these phrases with a little filler word. Tip number three is to repeat the question out loud. Okay, so to give an example, we go back to our question, Benin, what do you like about your culture? I could say, what do I like about my culture? Good question. I suppose I like the politeness, for example. So you can see there are some small changes we make to the question. For example, what do you like about your culture becomes what do I like about my culture, right? So we change the pronouns. If you find this a little bit difficult to do when you're speaking, another thing you can do is repeat the key words of the question. So if I give you another question, let's say, what's your favourite thing about your culture? You could pick out some keywords to repeat. Oh, my favourite thing. Good question. Or my favourite thing about my culture. Let me see. I suppose it's the politeness, for example. And again, you've just gained that time to think. So those are our three tips today. We've got the filler words, we've got be honest, a phrase that says you need time to think, and repeat the question. I really hope that these are helpful for you, that they make you feel a bit more comfortable in those awkward situations where you need time to think. And I hope that you can put them into practice very soon. So let me know how it goes. Thanks for watching and see you soon. Bye.